Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Olivarria, and I am a scholarship coach. And today, we are going to start off with a quote from William Temple, who's an educator, and he says, "The most influential of all educational factors is a conversation in a child's home." And I greatly believe and strongly believe this to be true. So, my question to you is, do you know how to start or continue a positive conversation about college with your children and your loved ones? This could include grandchildren, nieces, nephews, other people in your community, your neighbors, everybody. So it comes down to having good communication. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to go ahead and start a conversation by asking 25 different questions that students could be asked by scholarship judges. And what it is by having these questions available, you're prepping the conversation that they might have these conversations in the future, or hopefully they will. However, at this point in time, a lot of it's good information that you want to know, but at the same time, if your child gets upset or angry at you asking them why they're asking some of these questions, you can always refer back to, well, these are questions someone might ask you, and I'm curious too. Or, this is a good question that I think someone of authority would ask, and I just want you to be comfortable with answering these sort of questions. So when young people know this, as well as older people, because sometimes you get more stubborn as you get older, then it helps the conversation move easier, because then they realize it's not just you asking, especially if it's a question that makes them feel uncomfortable, that it could be someone else that's asking them as well. And then I'm also going to show you 4 ways to evaluate responses of your loved ones to the questions that they ask. And I'm going to help you figure out ways to fit these questions into everyday conversations. So one of the ways that you can do that is just think about, what is it you do together as family time, or what is it that you would like to do? A lot of times if you ask someone 25 questions all at one time, they might become overwhelmed, especially if they're not used to you giving them that kind of one-on-one attention. So the best way to do it is just to kind of sprinkle in the questions throughout the conversations. So you might be able to ask, a couple of questions during dinner. You can certainly do it while you're dropping off your kids to school or picking them up. And you certainly can do it even as if you're watching TV together and there's a commercial. That's perfect, because it's usually about 2 to 3 minutes, where you can ask them a question and just get them engaged. Just get them thinking about it. Get them used to you asking these questions. And when your child responds, listen to them. Don't jump in immediately and try to help them refine their answer. What you want to do is you want to listen actively, because that's what's going to help you understand where your child is as far as their career goals. And by listening actively, there's 4 things that you can tell. One is that you can tell, is your child able to answer questions easily? This is important because a lot of times people stumble with their questions and their answers. They're like, well, wait, what do you mean? Do you fully understand it? Can you answer it easily? Have you given a lot of thought to it? Is this something you've been thinking about? Or are you just kind of surprised and taken back because you've never really thought about it, or no one's ever really asked you? The next thing to observe is, does your child clearly communicate? And that's good to know, because sometimes people tend to talk not very clearly, because often in school we're taught to listen more than we are to talk and use our mouth. Usually the only time we talk is when we raise our hand and the teacher asks us, yes, please go ahead and respond. So sometimes students have a much more challenging time communicating because it's not a habit or a skill. Or they're used to giving an answer. The teacher's looking for a particular answer, and they're not used to clearly communicating their ideas about why they think this could be the way it is, or giving supportive evidence. So that's the next one, is, does your child give examples? When you ask them questions, a lot of times they'll tell you, well, I want to become a doctor, a lawyer, an artist. I want to become a programming engineer. software developer, but why? Give me an example of why you'd be good at it, or something that happened in your life to encourage you to want to do it. And these questions are great, not only for scholarship judges, but also for applying for college and, getting to meet people, other people who might write you letters of recommendations too. So get them in the habit of thinking, what have I done? What past accomplishments do I have? And in order to help you, that's why I'm providing you with 25 questions to ask. You don't have to go in order, but it does help you to know that you don't have to think of them on your own. Kind of relieves some pressure there, but also it helps you know that these are questions that are commonly asked on applications, and so you're preparing your child. Also, the next thing is, does your child or loved one speak with confidence? Are their answers well thought out? Is this something that they're just making up the answers from the top of their head? And confidence is very important because with confidence, you're more likely to attract other opportunities in your life and get the money, the job position that you want, or get accepted into the college that you want. So with that being said, that's why it's extremely important to go ahead and ask these questions. And if your child's not used to you asking these kind of questions or used to you being involved, just say, you're getting older and I want to make a change, or I want to be more involved, or, I realize I wish that my parents could have been there more for me, and so now I want to be there more for you. And most people will accept that, and they'll think that if you listen, then you really care about them because you're not judging them by giving them or correcting their answers. You're listening to them, you're evaluating where they're at, and they appreciate that because then they're going to be more willing and open to talk to you. And in the future, they're going to be more willing to take your advice about how they can change or revise their answers because they know you're not coming from a judgmental place. When you know that someone's listening to you, you automatically open up to feedback because you understand that they want to see you grow and change and become better. So it's not saying you're a bad person. It's saying I want to help your skills so that you can achieve more. And in doing that, that's a process of building trust. So trust is very, very important. And one of the ways that you can do that is by letting them know your intentions of why you're going to ask them questions. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start reading off my list. So why did you become interested in this major? Why do you want to attend this college? What have you learned about yourself as a student while attending high school? What is your favorite subject in school and why? What one class, teacher, book, or experience has changed the way you think and how? What activities are you most involved? How have you been a leader or displayed leadership? Who is your greatest strength and weakness? What is your greatest strength and weakness? Who is your role model? Which high school, church, or community activity has given you the most satisfaction and why? What have you learned from someone who is very different from you? If we were to ask your friends and teachers to describe you, what would they say? What is most important thing that you've learned in high school? What would you like or dislike about your school? What would you change? What advice do you have for middle school students about achieving success in high school? What has been your proudest achievement so far? What events have been crucial in your life? How do you define success? What mark do you feel you've left on your school? What do you do to demonstrate your pride in the school you attend? I know you are a talented student, and what motivates you to be a good learner and athlete and to put forth your best effort? What do you contribute to a college community? And what is unique about you? How would you describe yourself to someone who does not know you? And colleges have limited number of grants and scholarships they can offer. Colleges get lots of applications. Why should you receive it instead of somebody else? So these are great questions. Go ahead and get the ball rolling. Ask the questions you feel comfortable with, and over time you'll feel comfortable asking them all. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon.